What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that, like me, you are proud of the Dallas Cowboys. That's correct. The first round of the NFL draft went very, very, very well for America's team, honestly. Better than I think that we thought it was going to go, even though it was kind of the chalk outcome. Obviously, the Cowboys traded back from the 24th overall pick to the 29th overall pick. They wound up with an extra third round pick, number 73 overall. Shout out to the Detroit Lions, who went up to get their corner. Meanwhile, the Cowboys did not trade down again from 29, which I kind of wanted them to do in the moment. I really wanted them to do it in the moment. The Cowboys sat there, they drafted, and they took Oklahoma offensive tackle. I was going to say Tanner Bertolini. He's on my mind. You'll understand why in a moment. But Oklahoma tackle Tyler Guyton. We have an enormous amount of coverage available for you at bloggingtheboys.com as we speak, and we'll continue to have some throughout not just the course of draft weekend, but throughout the course of all time. Bloggingtheboys.com, churning out Dallas Cowboys content 24/7, 365, although in the case of this year, a leap year, 366. So make sure to check out bloggingtheboys.com and make sure to subscribe right here. Of course, our Blogging the Boys YouTube channel is going to be filled with all sorts of videos between you and I having conversations throughout all of draft weekend. But again, even beyond that, again, I hope you like hanging out with me. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Threads if you want more of me in your life. I'm at RJ Ochoa. But while the Cowboys, of course, did draft Tyler Guyton on Thursday night, the NFL draft rolls on. It is Friday. It is noon Central Time as I put this video together for you. We're going to be talking about day 2 targets for the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, they have 3 picks. They have their second round selection, number 56 overall. They have their original third round selection, number 87 overall. And because of the trade down where they took Tyler Guyton, they have Detroit's third round pick, number 73 overall. So today is an important day. I said many times throughout the week that Thursday was the most important day of the offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. This is now the newest, most important day of the offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not here to minimize what day 3 represents. We're obviously very excited to see what the Cowboys can do, although we'll have to wait a while for that to happen because they don't have a 4th round draft pick. But we know that day 3 is more of a lottery ticket proposition, right? Day 2 is where the Cowboys and everybody else in the NFL can still come away with tried and true legitimate starters, maybe not plug and play, but legitimate contributors. You want high floor level contributors for your football team in the immediate future. The Cowboys haven't necessarily gotten that out of their day 2 picks in recent history. The last time I would say they had a very successful day 2 was 4 years ago in 2020 when they took Trayvon Diggs in the second round and Neville Gallimore in the third. Before that, I think it'd have to go back to 2018 when the Cowboys took Connor Williams in the second and Michael Gallup in the third. But who are 5 names to pay attention to? Now, the Cowboys do have 3 picks, as mentioned, which means there are probably going to be 3 players on this team that are not on the team by Friday night. Maybe the Cowboys trade up, maybe they trade down again. But at the very least, right now, we're going to discuss 5 names with the idea that some of these names could be who we're talking about. I don't know. That was a weird sentence to get to. I haven't had much sleep, if I'm being honest with you. I've got like 14 cups of coffee in my system. I have like 6 root beers and 2 Powerades and hopefully some water sprinkled in there. Let's just talk about them. Oregon center Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, we're throwing out names that are names to know, and we're kind of hoping to hit on at least one of maybe 2 of these names, obviously, throughout the course of Friday night. And look, we're not going to wind up with 3 of these names, obviously, and I wouldn't want to wind up with 3 of these names. To be clear, we're talking centers and running backs here today. If you want to go linebacker, I mean, you could certainly draft Peyton Wilson or whatever. But for the purposes of this discussion, I would like to see the Cowboys address the center position, the interior position, and obviously the running back group. Although if the Cowboys don't address running back, I won't lose any sleep on Friday night. That is my dog barking in the background. Busy weekend at my house. All right. So Jackson Powers Johnson, JPJ, I had mentioned in our video on Thursday. By the way, if you do subscribe to our channel, you get access to all of our videos. We had one in the immediate aftermath of the Tyler Guyton pick. You can go watch that. But I'd mentioned that my nirvana was the Cowboys trading back in the first round and drafting Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, we got halfway there, obviously, but JPJ was not taken. He is still on the board. I don't know. Obviously, I don't think anybody knows exactly why NFL teams are shying away from him. I think we all think that it's probably something to do with medical concerns, and hopefully all is well with JPJ. But he is, or at least was, for a lot of the pre-draft process, regarded to be the best center in the draft. If he were to fall because of whatever is happening all the way to 56, I think you have to obviously really consider it. The Cowboys still have a need at center. They've taken care of left tackle with Guyton. It's going to be so difficult to get Tyler and Smiths and all these things right and sorted. It's just impossible how the Cowboys seem to always have dudes with the same name. But if JPJ makes it all the way to 56, I think you have to have a very, very legitimate conversation. But maybe Zach Frazier makes it there, the West Virginia center, the one who had a profile written about him in the Dallas Morning News. We note often, either here at Blog on the Boys or in other conversations I have with other people, that Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News is among the most plugged-in insiders on the local beat, and that he put together an entire profile on Zach Frazier doesn't seem to be a coincidence, doesn't seem to be an accident. It would stand to reason that the Cowboys have a high level of interest in Zach Frazier. Now, I would obviously love it if the Cowboys would consider drafting him at 56 overall, but I do not want to see the Cowboys jump up at all on Friday night, even if Zach Frazier were to fall. If we're talking now 40, the early 40s, the mid 40s, you have to stand and wait. That is the benefit of picking up that 73rd overall pick, that you have 3 players who you're taking tonight. But this is maybe the best center option available right now, especially if you do have some sort of concerns about JPJ. If the Cowboys were to lay in Zach Frazier at 56 overall, I think we have a legitimate party on the internet, because they have addressed their offensive line needs and then can then use their 2 third-round picks to play around and go attack the skill positions or whatever the case may be. But Zach Frazier, a definite name to watch. Now, the names that we just discussed, JPJ and Zach Frazier, are center options at 56 at best, right? And again, even that is sort of reaching and hoping and crossing our fingers. But if the Cowboys go elsewhere in the second round, and we'll get to that in a moment, if the Cowboys decide to take a running back with their first pick of Friday night, it's possible that they go to the well at center in the third round. They have 2 picks there. Again, shout out to the Lions. And speaking of going to the well, they might go back to a familiar one for themselves. That's the Wisconsin Badgers. We know the Cowboys obviously took Travis Frederick from Wisconsin 11 years ago in the first round of the 2013 NFL draft. And 4 years ago, that 2020 draft I mentioned, on day 3, the Cowboys took Travis Frederick. They took Tyler Biadasz out of Wisconsin, also right on the heels of Travis Frederick's retirement. Those have been players that worked out wonderfully for the Cowboys. And so if they decide to forego center with their first pick, or if they get wiped out on the board, I don't think it would be a bad idea to address center in the third round. Wisconsin's Tanner Bertolini is one of my favorite ideas, or favorite prospects, or favorite options for the Cowboys, whether it's now at 73 or 87. You come away with him, I think you feel really good about the floor you're establishing. And that's what this day is about. That's what rounds 2 and 3 are about, is raising the floor for the Cowboys, because free agency to this point, and we don't need to relitigate it, has lowered the floor significantly. So we are here to raise it to keep our room for error as wide as possible across the entirety of the 2024 season and beyond. So that's the center position, the 3 names. If the Cowboys come away from the NFL draft tonight, Friday night, by the time the Colorado Avalanche have won game 3 of their playoff series against who are they playing? I forgot. The Lightning? Not the Lightning. Who are the Avs playing? It's already escaped my mind. I have to know now. Colorado Avalanche. Why am I blanking? The Avs are playing the Jets. Goodness gracious, the Lightning. What was I thinking? Anyway, the Lightning are on my mind. I'm a Bruins fan, whatever. Either way, so those are my favorite center options for the Cowboys. Now, before we get to the running back position, I want to show you a tweet, something that popped up. Well, I want to show you 2 tweets, first of all. So this one comes to us from our good friend Patrick Walker of DallasCowboys.com. This is about Tyler Guyton. I was going to say Taylor Guyton, goodness gracious. But the Commanders and the Patriots, according to Patrick, were both attempting to trade back into the first round to get Tyler Guyton. Tyler said this upon initially arriving in Dallas, obviously, for his first action as an official member of the Dallas Cowboys. That is very cool. Honestly, the Cowboys played this whole thing right, and that they understood that they could go back, a little bit, but not too far and risk losing Tyler Guyton. So well done by them. Congratulations. But this is the tweet I wanted to show you. I just had Twitter open. This is from the aforementioned Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News. His colleague David Moore wrote a story about how the Cowboys and Zeke Elliott could have a reunion on the horizon. If you missed it, the Cowboys brass was asked about this after the first round in their post-first round press conference on Thursday night. They mentioned that they had met with Zeke on Wednesday and blah, blah, blah. This is a really important note, though, from Gelkin. The Cowboys could draft a running back today, talking about Friday, with one of their 3 picks. We're going to talk about some names in a moment. The choice won't change. The expectation Ezekiel Elliott will rejoin Dallas backfield in 2024 to complement and help mentor that rookie. This has been the sense for several weeks, now increasingly imminent. If Michael Gelkin is saying this, you can bet that it is going to happen. So you should assume that Zeke Elliott is going to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys roster sooner rather than later. It may not be soon, actually, but it does seem inevitable, especially if it's being talked about like this. So what was the point in signing Royce Freeman? I don't know, but let's move on and let's figure out who the Cowboys are going to draft with a day 2 pick, even though they're already hell-bent on bringing Zeke back. that's neither here nor there for the purposes of this discussion. Everyone's going to talk about Jonathan Brooks. I always want to call him Jonathan Cooper. I don't know why, his name is just always stuck on my mind. But Jonathan Brooks, if the Cowboys take a running back today, great, fine. Even if they want to bring Zeke Elliott back, I can live with that, especially because they picked up the Detroit pick. But you do not need to reach on this with your second round draft pick. I really do, and would be kind of impressed in a weird way if all of the talk and all of the fluff that we've heard about Brooks was just this big, massive smokescreen and the Cowboys were just messing with us. That would be awesome. That would be impressive. That would be worthy of some kind of weirdly legitimate praise. But if they wind up drafting him in the third round at 73, then the value kind of makes sense. But you do not have to reach on an injured running back, a running back, mind you, with the 56th overall pick in the draft. I'm sorry if you're a Texas Longhorn fan. I went to Texas A&M. It's nothing personal. It's just an evaluation of the position and draft value and common sense relative to NFL roster construction. But nevertheless, he is a name to pay very much attention to on Friday night, potentially the newest member of the Dallas Cowboys. But if I had my pick, if I had my druthers, the Cowboys would, in a Nirvana world, laying Zach Frazier, obviously, in the second round at 56 overall. And maybe, with their first third round pick the player that I'm about to tell you. And then with their second, third round pick, take Tanner Bertolini. If that happens, if the Cowboys sandwich the player I'm about to tell you with what did I say? Tanner Bertolini. No, if they go, whoever, let's go Edge Cooper. In fact, let's put Edge Cooper here. I don't know why I got mixed up in my analysis of everything. Like I said, it's a very busy day for me. I have so much caffeine flowing through my veins. If the Cowboys land Texas A&M linebacker Edge Cooper, speaking of the proper school in the state of Texas, if Edge Cooper, I'm giving you a sixth name here, if he is the pick at 56, now we are really dancing, all right? Because we have to live in reality too. And it's really unlikely, as mentioned, that Zach Frazier or even Jackson Powers Johnson, even in the aftermath of whatever injury or medical or whatever concerns there are, it's super unlikely that they're going to make it all the way to 56. So that being said, what are we hoping happens in the process of it all? That the Cowboys decide, we can wait on center. Tanner Bertolini is going to be there in the third round. We have 2 third-round picks. Let's take Edge Cooper. Let's get him in the mix. Let's get him in this defense. Let's help Mike Zimmer out. Let's party. Let's do this. Gig 'em, baby. That's what I want. That's what you should want. So my Nirvana, as we kind of craft this, as we weave this, is Tyler Guyton's already on the team. Okay, second round comes, 56 comes. There's Edge Cooper. Hullabaloo, connect. Okay, then the player I'm about to tell you, and then Tanner Bertolini to close out Friday night. The Cowboys address the center position. So who is this player? Who is this mystery player, RJ, that you keep talking about? You're telling me it's the middle of the sandwich. Well, you know what? I feel so badly about it that I'm going to put him on the cover of the image, all right? It is Florida State running back Trey Benson. This is where I want the Cowboys to go. The value feels right if you're going to take him in the third round. Let Jonathan Brooks be somebody else's risk that they're going to take. Take Trey Benson, prosper. You now have a legitimate running back, somebody who can really help you on offense, somebody who can really change the game on the ground, even if Zeke Elliott is a part of it all, somebody who comes in and is your starter for the next handful of years. That's what you want. And if this happens, if we will come away from Friday night after the Avs beat the Jets, and Edge Cooper, Trey Benson, Tanner Bertolini. If that's the haul, we party. All right, we have a legitimate pizza party on the internet. We get ice cream. We get the molten lava cake. We do the whole thing. This is the way I want the Cowboys night to go Friday night. Please, Dallas Cowboys, let it happen. Do not let us down. You already impressed us with how you performed on Thursday night. We're counting on you to do it again. We believe in you. We're going to trust you. You earned a little bit. You earned a little bit of slack back, so we're going to give it to you. Do not make us regret doing this. My name is RJ Ochoa. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Threads at RJ Ochoa, where I am just as disheveled these days as I am here in this video for you. I apologize for my scatterbrainness. It's been a hectic sort of run. Obviously, that's the way this weekend goes when we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and creating so much content. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing here to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. We are so close to, 22,000 subscribers. We're on the hunt. We're very quickly about to become the most subscribed to SB Nation channel in terms of individual teams. So if you want to be a part of it, that would make us very, very, very happy. You can check out blogontheboys.com, as we mentioned at the top, for all of our written work. We're doing so much. We're churning out article after article after article, so you do not want to miss any of those things. I hope you enjoy Friday night. I hope, unless you're a Jets fan, everything goes your way. And I hope that it is a wonderful evening that we finish up and are here talking about and having a good time as a result of. We will have a video. I will have a video here on the channel discussing the picks on Friday night. So you, whether you watch it late Friday night or early Saturday morning, that's up to you. You can watch it in parallel with the Premier League action. But either way, thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you next time.